Welcome, friends. It's Kaylee Bird. It's not every day that I get to bust out my chalk pastels, but today I've got 2 custom chalk pastel drawings, 1 oil painting, and 1 regular graphite. These are a few of the custom works that I've been working on in the past few months that I don't normally share, but since everyone has now received their present, I figured I would show you some of the stuff that goes on in my studio that usually doesn't make it to the YouTube cutting room floor. So this first pet portrait I want to share with you is of a sweet little girl by the name of Charlotte, if I remember correctly, and she had actually passed over the Rainbow Bridge earlier last year. I know, it was very touching. I'm always so honored when folks entrust me to do memorial portraits of their furry family members because if you think about it, like not everybody has a bunch of photos of their, dogs or cats or whatnot up on their wall. And so if they ask you to do a portrait and the animal has passed on, then this, will be the face of that animal that they look at every single day to remember. And so it's very, it's just really a special kind of portrait to do, to know that this sort of is going to help those people, sort of healing and continue to feel that link to the, the soul that was once their little best friend. So I just wanted to share this one because I'm actually, I'm asked to do memorial pet portraits rather often. And it's just always a very, very touching and special experience. And when I get the reaction from the previous owners or whatnot, they're just, oh my gosh, it's just so heartfelt and just really, really special when I can hear them express how much better it makes them feel already. So anyways, you can tell that I am using both hand pastels, right? Like the finger pastels, I should say, chalk pastels. And I also use these Carbothellos that are like chalk pastel pencils, and even a little bit of charcoal pastel when I need to get something super black. But I use sort of a combination of all the different kinds of pastels at my disposal, depending on what kind of texture I'm trying to get. If I'm trying to get some, bolder, furry, textures in there, if I've got to do some refinements around the eyes and the nose and mouth and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been doing these pet portraits for years. They're really very satisfying. And sometimes I'll definitely struggle. It can be very difficult making certain fur smooth and other fur more rough, or some fur I've had to do was like really curly, so that's very intense. But yeah, for the most part, I really have a good time doing these pet portraits. And again, always feel very honored when people entrust me for such a very, very special portrait. Now, this next one is actually a special couples portrait, which I used to do these on a pretty regular basis. I've slightly gotten out of the habit, but I am definitely still available whenever people ask. These are a couple of old friends of mine. I knew these folks actually out in Hawaii. Brittany was a neighbor of mine for a little while, and she and her very long-time boyfriend, Seth, celebrated their 5-year anniversary, so she commissioned this piece, and then right after that, they actually wound up getting engaged. So it worked out really well because she wound up surprising him with this portrait, and he wound up surprising her with a diamond ring. So not too bad at the end of the day, right, Brittany? So I call this a pencil portrait, which of course it is, but technically, if you are wanting to be artistic about it, it is a graphite with white conte portrait, and I do these on toned paper. I just love the way that little bit of white really helps things pop right off. So if you notice, I never really do any artwork on plain white paper. Everything's got some sort of tone to really help those whites pop off, and this is a perfect example. Now here's an active boy who is still very much with us. This is Cooper, and he is a Springer Spaniel, I'm not sure, some kind of Spaniel, and he has got tons of energy from what I understand from Helen, who is my my longest term mentoring client. I do creative coaching with her and have been working with her for about 1.5 years now, and we meet pretty often, and I am always seeing Cooper pop up on Zoom or occasionally hearing him bark at some of the birds going by their window, and so I felt very blessed to be able to create this portrait for Helen, because I know what an active boy Cooper was, or is, I should say, and can be kind of difficult to take a photo. So you'll see at the end, I actually kind of had to blend 2 photos in order to get this one, because I like the angle of one and the lighting on another. And since he is such an active boy, I know it's quite difficult for Helen to get a good shot of him. So I was pretty happy with how this one turned out. Now, this last commission is an oil painting portrait that I did as a very special Christmas gift for a client. Unfortunately, all I have is photos, because when my last computer died and I switched over to the new one, I lost all of the video footage of me actually painting it. So you'll just have to enjoy a few process photos. But I did manage to create this fun little video I used for my Instagram Reels and YouTube short that sort of showed the process of just how difficult this painting actually was, because I had to actually create it from 2 different photos, one being very old and slightly out of focus, and the other one facing the wrong direction with different lighting. And I actually had to combine them together because this client's grandmother had passed away and there was no way we could get a fresh photo of her. So check out the little video I did, because it actually wound up feeling pretty good to meet this challenge. Now, if you're interested in getting a custom oil or pencil portrait, or even a pastel pet portrait, go ahead and pop down to the description below. I've got a link that goes directly to my custom portrait questionnaire on my website, and you can just fill out a little form, let me know what you're thinking of, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you with a quote and some great ideas. Thanks so much for being here today, folks. I really appreciate you supporting me as an artist, both by commissioning works, hiring me to be your creative coach, and of course, tuning in every single week. Check out this playlist if you'd like to see a few more of my pencil portraits come to life. Thanks so much, folks. I'll see you next time.